So we have a theory of at least how the universe was 13.7 billion years ago. We're unsure whether there was anything before that, and if so, what it was. We have a fairly clear picture of how it got from this state 13.7 billion years ago to where we are now, with gravity playing the role of structuring things. Do we get rid of any kind of design in the universe? If all that you need is the fundamental laws to be applying to explain everything we see around us, have we gotten rid of any trace of something that looks like intentional design? Well, you have to start looking now at the laws themselves, and in particular, in addition to the laws, the fundamental constants. So in order to account for what we see, we need the laws and we need certain numbers that we get from observation, like the mass of the electron and the mass of the proton and the values of the electrical charges and the scale of the forces. So it turns out, if you look at these constants of nature, they have to be in very constrained regions in order for there to be complexity in the universe, in order for there to be planets and stars and life. Let's give an example. The proton and the neutron, which are the main components of the nuclei of atoms, are made up of up and down quarks. And if you change the masses of these quarks by relatively small amounts, the physics changes in a radical way. So, for example, if you make the up quark just 3 times heavier than it is, the neutron can't form. The neutron becomes unstable. And so you can't have nuclei of atoms that are anything more than a single proton, which means the only kind of element you can make is hydrogen. So in a universe like that, from the hot plasma that occurs soon after the Big Bang, you would form only hydrogen, nothing else. If you take the down quark and make it about 6 times heavier than it is, it's even worse. Now the proton becomes unstable. You can't have protons, all you'll have are neutrons. So the entire universe will be a soup of free-floating neutrons with no elements that we're familiar with, and again, no interesting structure. The other constants of nature, the relative strengths of electromagnetism and gravity and so on, all have to be fairly carefully calibrated in order to allow for complex structure to exist in the universe. And so some cosmologists and some physicists have become concerned about that and wondered if there's a story to be told about why these numbers appear in exactly the regions they have to in order to give rise to complexity. Well, one possibility is found in this theory of eternal inflation. So we said before that one picture has it that before the Big Bang, there was a region of this roiling, inflating universe, and it gives rise to these sub-universes, these pocket universes or bubble universes that are much more slowly changing and much calmer than the background. And according to some theories, each of these pocket universes, each of these bubble universes will have, by chance, different values for these fundamental constants of nature. And there are going to be infinitely many of them. So just by chance, some of them will have values for these constants that are exactly in the right range to give rise to complexity. And it's only in those bubble universes that stars can form, that planets can form, that life can evolve. And so living things like us will certainly find ourselves in one of those special regions. Just as the theory of evolution gives an account of how the laws of nature operating without any design can give rise to creatures that appear to be designed, that seem to have the marks of design, but not because of any intelligence involved. So the theory of eternal inflation can give rise to an account where chance takes the role of design, and you just happen to find yourself in exactly the right kind of region that you need to be in order for life to exist. In any of these theories, humans do not play any special role. They don't play any special role in the history of life on Earth. I mean, there were millions and millions of years of dinosaurs that preceded us. There will presumably be lots of life forms that will succeed us. The Earth itself, cosmologically, is just in the outskirts of a rather regular-looking galaxy. There are billions and billions of stars and billions of other planets. There may well be life on some of them. We don't play a particularly central role in anything. The idea behind many religious accounts of the cosmos makes the cosmos all about us, ultimately. And that may be of some consolation for people if they want to feel special. Modern cosmology does not support that idea. It could have, right? It could have been the case that when you looked at the universe, you found the Earth was at the center or in some way special, and everything was organized around the Earth. But that's not what you find. We know a lot about how things have been, at least for the last 13.7 billion years. Should all of this make you feel depressed? Should it make you feel insignificant? Well, there's no particular reason why it should. You still have your families. There are still the creations of humans that have been inspiring over the centuries. None of that changes. But things look different when you look up at the starry sky and you realize that each of those stars is itself an entire planetary system like our own, and that there could be other forms of life out there that are looking up and asking the same questions as we have been.